Very warm welcome to the last round of Season 3 of eRacing GP's Global Edition. It's the American Championship. We're with the gold class competitors, and we've already got a reigning champion. His name is Mohammed Aleef Hamilton, and this is how he secured the title on round 5 of 6. Miko Nassi, we will just have a look at him. He's right at the back of the grid, and I think we'll cheekily start at the very back of the grid as they are underway. Nassi goes 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Sensational. And then a big pile up in front of Miko Nassi. And after all that great work, Nassi started second from back, finds himself right at the very back. At the front, Alex Young, Ryan Keith has got off to a storming start. That is astonishing, Aleef Hamilton. We're thinking you've got lots of time. Within 60 seconds, he has made up 17 places on the grid. That is what champions are made of. He goes past Josh Perwin into the top 6. I think he'll go into P5 because Son Idu is there. This is just a procession. Aleef, there's 50 minutes to go. Give us some entertainment, please, fella. Yevon David is there, and Miko Nassi is just static. This could be the title over, done and dusted. Yevon David is the race leader. Tin Su, we could be having a 50-minute Aleef Hamilton celebration lap here, Alex. A very talented group of brothers, the David brothers, based in Singapore, but with the Sri Lankan flag. And at the moment, there's a lead there, and perhaps there's an opportunity for a bit of glory here for Yevon.
Yeah, I think he's not won one of these big races before. Could this be the day?
So his strategy is the soft tyre, get off to a rapid start, and then maybe change. But he's gone in on this particular lap. We are with Yevon David. So the race leader, astonishingly, will be Mohammed Aleef Hamilton. Uses PTP. He's on the harder compound tyres. He is now the race leader. Kalen Chin in P2. Josh Purr will be in P3.
Kalen Chin, then, we're watching him drive now in the green car. We, on Facebook, been mentioned that some suspension damage. Doesn't look too bad, though. Doesn't look like he's fighting the car too much. Oh, as I say that, he has a big tank slapper, and that's it. I'm so surprised he didn't lose a position, because Josh Perlman was right behind him. Josh not close enough to make use of that position. Kalen was so lucky to get away with that. Now Josh looks to the outside of the corkscrew. Nothing given there. You really can't go around the outside of the corkscrew. Look, Kalen knows that. He's smiling. He was so lucky to get away with that. Hangs on to second position for another day. So that's, I think, what happened. Someone must have got a little bit sideways and collected someone, and then it would have started off a chain reaction. We'll have to have a look at it later. Kalen Chin comes in for his pit stop, by the way. Aleef Hamilton looking very good as he goes through the corkscrew. Famous Rainey corner, named after Wayne Rainey, the, well, I'm not going to say MotoGP, the 500cc champion. And Aleef finally comes in for his pit stop, so he is going to make a one-stop strategy work.
Just incredible.
Wow.
This is his first stop, isn't it? It's got to be. Yeah,
I think so.
So let's see how much fuel he takes on. Again, it's he's got such a healthy lead. Kalen Chin has come in as well. Or maybe he's not. Luis Moreno is the man who's currently in second place. So Luis Moreno is just coming around the corkscrew now. So Aleef will make his pit stop, his one pit stop, and he'll still come out considerably in the lead. Luis Moreno is the man who's trying to get there. In fact, Moreno comes in for his own pit stop. So Aleef Hamilton in and out of the pit lane and still in the lead. So Luis Moreno, Philippine champion when we did the regional Philippine edition. He was very, very quick. And here he's got himself into P3. Josh Perwin in the meantime. Second again. Josh Perwin second. We named him in season 1 because he was so often the bridesmaid, not the bride. Russell Reyes, a drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane for the third of the Filipino competitors out there. Started at the back. Within a lap, he'd got himself up into P3. Within 10 minutes, he'd got himself up into P1. And the victory belongs to Mohammed Aleef Hamilton. He is the champion for the third straight season of eRacing GP. Congratulations to the Singaporean. A fabulous, fabulous achievement. And there is confirmation. Aleef Hamilton cannot be caught, even if he gets no points today. He is the champion. Miko Nassi will be defending second place from Naquib Azlan, Kalen Chin and Josh Perwin. Are we trying to get ahead of Naquib? I suppose the real race that we are looking at today is the battle for P3. Naquib, Kalen, Josh and possibly even Luis Moreno with an outside chance of making it. So a 6-race season, Alex Young, and Mohammed Aleef Hamilton only needed 5 races.
Yeah, he did. Good win by him indeed. Yeah, so really impressive. Now got a good battle between for second position Miko Nassi's really, and it's going to be down to good fight for third position between Naquib, Josh Perwin, and who else will be there? I think a Kalen Chin as well.
Yeah, Kalen Chin's got a chance as well. Practice is just coming to an end. We did have a flying lap, but I think we're a little bit too close to the start of the race to take you around Indianapolis. I'm sure you'll be able to talk us through it once we get to the race itself. But let's have a look at how the grid will be looking, because it's a reverse grid race based upon championship positions. And that means that Aleef Hamilton is starting 25th and Miko Nassi, so they are a long way down. Dylan Tan, who just won the Silver Championship a few minutes ago, will be on the first row of the grid alongside Marco Wong, Sun Idu and Noor Shazlizan on the second row. So an opportunity in these reverse grid races to give some of the lesser known names a real chance in the spotlight and see if they can hold off the threat of Aleef and Miko and Naquib and Kalen and Josh Perwin.
And interestingly enough, we have Dylan Tan will be on pole position. He just won the silver race, so he's invited to join us in gold for this race. Because he's not doing the championship, he starts right at the very front. Not very experienced with these cars. These cars are a lot bigger, a lot more powerful, and the starts are a lot harder. Here is a map of the track. It's a clockwise track. You can see half of it is the oval, and half of it is the infield section at Indianapolis.
So the overtaking opportunities are on the oval. They've got about 30 seconds to think. We will, once we get the actual grid up on the left-hand side, we'll select a racer. Now, on the last race, we went to the back of the grid and we're on board with Miko Nassi and Aleef Hamilton, and we caught a massive incident that really cost Miko Nassi a lot of time and a lot of ground and effectively handed the early stages to Aleef. So let's this time go on board with Mohammed Naquib at the back. Red lights are on. When they go off, we are underway. Naquib tries his best just to work his way through. Contact between Naquib, who's up into P14 already. Dylan Tanner's got off to a great start, but Mohammed Naquib, Alex Young, has made a storming start.
Wow, good move. Goes around the outside there as well. Oh, it's contact. Got to be very careful. You can pick up damage. Damage is on full. Somehow he escapes and the car looks straight still.
So he started on the second row of the grid and he's got himself up into P9. What a start. But as you say, there was contact there. And in these long races, that could come back to haunt you just a little bit. Naquib goes up now to P7 inside Nicholas Stephen. What a first lap that is. At the front though, Dylan Tan in the in the blue and yellow imitation of Aleef Hamilton. He leads from Darryl Brady and Sri Lanka's Yevan David.
Yeah, so that Dylan Tan leading the young Singaporean, doing a good job. He would have had to get off the sim, well not off the sim, off the silver class and get his mind into driving IndyCars, showing some versatility there. But Darryl Brady from the Philippines, looking to go on the outside. Look who's going on the inside. Yevan David, obviously using the push to pass. You have got a certain amount of 10 push to passes a race, and Yevan's decided to use it at the very start, and that's put him into the lead.
So Yevan David, you can see the size of him. He's swamped by his driver's chair there, and real focus, lovely camera angle that. You can see the concentration on Yevan. That's looking backwards from his car. So young Yevan David, there's a long time to go. There's 48 minutes to go. But we saw Yevan leading going into the first pit stop on the last race that we had at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, Yevan actually looked quite good. I thought he was going to fight for a podium position. But he had a spin, I think. No, he lost his nose. That's right. He lost his nose just after his first pit stop. So he had to take another stop. And that really took him out of contention for the podium. Let's see if he can have a cleaner race now. He would have learned a lot from last weekend's race. He would have learned a lot about how to make the tires last, how to do the strategy, how to keep the car out of trouble in the pit stops. And let's see if he can fight for a podium.
There again, that is him looking back. How about our overall champion, Aleef Hamilton? He has already got the title sewn up, so there's no real pressure on Aleef. But nonetheless, we know that Aleef will compete, and he'd love to end the season with a victory as well. He's got himself up into P12 just at the moment.
Shame. Seems a couple of drivers with a bit of contact, Nasi and Young, obviously. So I think they're in the pits. Always happens with these IndyCar starts. IndyCar starts are very tricky to do. As Aleef takes the position nicely, good job there, and he's up to 12th position. So yeah, the starts are really hard because there's so much power with these cars, and when the turbo kicks in, you get so much wheel spin. He's putting the pressure now all over Son Edu. Looks to the inside. No, Son has it covered off and holds the position for now.
Let's go back up to the top, and on Facebook there's a couple of comments saying, Darrell Brady, what are you doing up there, son? It's nosebleed territory for Darrell Brady. He's got his Filipino fans at the moment holding off P2, but he's got Naquib for company, Darrell Brady. Naquib is right there. Wow, that is all over the back end of Darrell Brady. He will be feeling that pressure, Alex Young.
Yeah, so Naquib, he really felt that he could have won last weekend's race. But obviously got involved in that start line crash, so he feels he has something to prove, and he's in the slipstream right now. Oh, he's just kind of tucked up there. He goes to the outside now. Darrell Brady covers the inside. Can he swoop around the outside? Yeah, he brakes super late. Oh, just about makes it. Has to use the grass, but survives for now and is up to P2. Naquib is super aggressive in these early laps. He's clearly thinking about a 2-stop strategy, I feel. Maybe even a 3-stop strategy. Tyre wear is at times 3 this weekend. So drivers have to make 2 or 3 stops. I don't think we'll see Aleef doing a 1-stop strategy again, but you can never put it past him, can you? You can never count Aleef Hamilton for coming up with something interesting.
So there is Aleef Hamilton. He's again just helped himself up to a nice P11. Again, our Facebook page is running live. So Ryan Keith is saying, let's go Yevon, Ollie Aquino, wake up Darrell Brady, and Brady second. So keep those comments coming in. We'll just try to keep you honest on that. Melvin Moe from Malaysia has got himself up into P4. And Melvin is one of those who occasionally we see up in the top end, but doesn't really put points on the board at the end of the season. But let's see if he can change that perspective of him today.
Yeah. So, so I think Aleef has been very, very conservative in the first few laps, isn't he? So I think... yeah, he's definitely going to try and do a 1-stopper or a 2-stopper, because we saw this last weekend. I mean, he got lucky with the start lane crash, I guess, because it put him very high up. But he was not pushing at all in those early laps, and he made a 1-stop strategy work. I don't know how he did it, but it seems to be the same. He seems to be very conservative these early laps, and maybe he'll try and stretch out this first stint.
Okay, somebody we've not mentioned, Alex. Mikko Nasi is a lap down.
Yeah.
Don't know what really happened there, but he was a lap down, an invalid last lap, so he's currently in 20th and out of the points.
Yeah.
He's currently second in the overall championship standings. Can he lose that? No, he's probably too far away to lose second, but nonetheless, it's not been a happy couple of rounds for Mikko Nasi.
No, he's been really unlucky. He got involved. He had contact with Naquib at the start. Naquib obviously survived it okay, but Mikko Nasi didn't, so he had to pit to repair the car. So yeah, shame for Mikko Nasi, because he's not had the rub of the green for the last few races.
No doubt it's a long race, 43 minutes still to go. He'll fancy, I tell you, somebody worth keeping an eye on. Josh Perwin has made a decent fist of things. Easy to pick up in that chocolate car, the chocolate box. He's got himself up into P5 behind Melvin Moe, but ahead of Dylan Tan, Shazli Zan and Kalen Chin, who we've not mentioned before. So both Josh and Kalen have managed to manipulate their way up the leaderboard in the first 6 laps.
Yeah. So Josh, they're looking calm as well. He didn't have as good a first lap as I thought he would have had, but still, he's up to P5. He'll be reasonably happy with P5, but he'll be looking at the front, because, wow, the car's at the front. Look at the front now. Naquib's back into the, not back, gets into the championship, gets into the race lead as he's in front of Yevon David.
Yeah, Naquib, I was busy watching others, and Naquib has been able to make the move. Yevon David is lost over a second already on Naquib there. So Naquib, as you say, is going out at a rate of knots. He's put in a lap time of 1:10.9. The only racer, no, of course Aleef's put in a 1:10.9 as well, hasn't he? But only the top racers are able to get inside a 1:10 lap.
Yeah, looking very comfortable in there. He's definitely in pole position to win this race, I feel. Let's see how much tyre life he's taking out of those tyres, though, because tyre wear is crucial. He's really pushing hard. You know, you see, Aleef has also done a lap in the 10s as well, actually. But you just feel that Aleef, while he's got traffic, has been a bit more kind to the tyres, where Naquib is trying to play the role of the hare, and maybe might have to make a stop extra.
Silver champion Dylan Tan has got himself up into P7. That's a very decent effort, but the blue and yellow car immediately behind him is the champion. So Dylan, the silver champion, Aleef, the gold champion, Aleef, the gold standard to chase.
Okay, so now watching Aleef, we watch the replay, you can see him coming through this slight replay on the right. It was following Josh and Dylan Tan, and he's able to make that move coming out of this next corner. So it's a good 20 seconds replay, and it's kind of interesting to look at the screen on the right. He's actually got the pedals camera working, but he's playing in his bare feet. I might have to write down the regulations that people have to put on socks or shoes or something for next time.
Very interesting. Pedicurists are required at eRacing GP. Mohammed Naquib is the man who has the lead, though, and the lead is 3 seconds from Yevon David. Darrell Brady hasn't gone backwards like sometimes he does. He has moved into P3, but the Filipino is doing all right. But Naquib, who we're on board with that lead, 2.5 seconds. So when are we looking at the first pit stop? Not this early, but maybe in the next 3 laps, perhaps?
Well, we've got all year we've been running ×2 tyre wear, and like we saw last weekend, people were doing 2 stops. Some people were doing 3 stops, and a couple drivers have managed to make a 1-stop strategy work. I don't think anyone's going to be able to make his 1-stop strategy work with ×3 tyre wear. Although I said that last week as well, and quite a few drivers proved us wrong. So I'm going to think Naquib's going to look trying to make a 2-stop strategy work. But let's have a look at the timing, because 10 minutes are gone. If to make a 2-stop strategy work, he's got to keep going for another 5 more minutes. If he pits within the next 5 minutes, then he might have to make a 3-stop strategy work. But if he can get to 35 minutes to go, then I think a 2-stop strategy will be on the cards.
The one thing about Naquib over this season, he's learned how to drive in difficult circumstances. He's been knocked back and forward. He's been in some physical confrontations. So he knows how to drive under pressure. So let's see how long he can stay out. Another one who drives well under pressure is Mikko Nassi, but he's still a long way down, Alex. Still a lap down as Dylan Tan has gone into the pits. So Dylan has been in the pits and now has come out. So he's now in P18. Aleef has stayed out. Now he's always worth keeping an eye out as Aleef goes alongside Kalen Chin. And Nur Shazlizan is there as well. So Aleef touches wheels with Kalen Chin and knocks the young Aussie out of P6.
Yeah, and don't forget, Kalen is fighting for 3rd place in this championship with Josh Powen and Naquib. So Kalen and Josh really need to get up to the front, because Naquib at the moment, if things finish as they are, he's going to hold on to 3rd place in the championship.
So there is young Kalen Chin. His fastest lap at the moment is a 1:11.560. He's under pressure from Nur Shazlizan behind him. We're on board with Kalen on your right. That's just an indication as they come into the main straight. But Mohammed Tasbi is putting pressure on him. Nur Shazlizan is trying to put pressure on him. He's lost nearly a second there on Kalen Chin. There's a grimace on the face there of Kalen. We've seen him look an awful lot more relaxed in a racing car this season, Alex.
Yeah, but he defended as well, because the cars behind were really in the slipstream, and he manages to hold on to the position.
So Kalen Chin holds on into P7. Aleef Hamilton is putting pressure on Josh Perwin ahead of them. Melvin Moe isn't too far ahead of them, but let's stick with Aleef Hamilton and wonder what his strategy will be. Chocolate Josh just decides to close the gap, close the door there on Aleef. It is difficult to overtake on this part of the course, Alex, the more technical area, the Mickey Mouse area to call it. And Aleef will find it difficult to get past Josh Perwin.
Wow, Josh did not have a good exit out of that last corner at all. I think he is struggling a little bit. I saw him weaving a couple laps ago, so I think he might have some suspension damage. So he didn't get a good exit. So Josh struggling to get to the slipstream of Melvin Moe. Although they're all coming together now, I'm kind of surprised a little bit that Aleef is not closing down the gap a bit more. You can see the replay on the right as they come out of these corners. But no, it's status quo for now.
So Aleef is currently in P6. Naquib hasn't come in for a pit stop yet. You know what? He might be able to cope with 2.
Yep.
He stayed out there once again. Last lap a 1:11.4, which isn't too shabby. It's only half a second down on his best lap, which is 1:10.9.
That is really good. So, yeah, he's making those tires last indeed. So, I think he can keep going a bit, because normally we see the tires drop off. When they start dropping off about 2 seconds off the fastest lap, that's when you know that they're thinking about coming in for a pit stop. But if he's only half a second off, then he's definitely got a couple laps more with his tire life, which is great, because now he's in the 2-stop window. We saw Dylan Tan pit earlier on. Maybe he's new to this class. He's actually a silver class driver, so Dylan will have to do 3 stops, I think. But all these cars driving now, they looks like they're all in the 2-stop window.
Yevon David, he has got himself up into P2, or is still holding on to P2, but he's losing time remarkably on Naquib. 8 seconds down. Young Yevon looks young, but has got a 5-second lead over P3 Darrell Brady, and a 9-10 second lead over Melvin Moe. And well, Jason Tay's moved in because Kalen Chin has gone into the pits. But let's just stick on board with Yevon David as he stays out for another lap. So what's he on? 2-stop strategy? Or he's not been in, has he? No, not yet.
No, he's not. So everyone, I think, are trying to get to a 2-stop strategy. Tire wear at this track is not as hard as Laguna. Oh, it's a few cars in the pit lane as we speak. Aleef's in, and he's missing a nose. Wow. So Aleef Hamilton with 100% damage. He's going to lose a lot of time. He must have had contact when he was trying to overtake Josh Perwin or something, because yes, he's going to have to repair that car. That's going to put him out of the running. Thankfully, he's already wrapped up the championship.
Thankfully for him, and being strictly neutral.
Yes, strictly neutral, of course. But yeah, it's the damage. Yeah, damage is repaired. Damage didn't take that long. He's pulling the car side to side, making sure it still works. Yeah, that's going to drop him down. He's going to have a nice, fun race as he tries to get back up to the front.
Naquib has stayed out there. His lead time over Yevon David is 9 seconds. So he is just beginning to slow down a little bit, and Yevon is able to get there. Adrian Ferguson is a fan. Get in there, Yevon. Dave Chin says that Aleef hit Josh Perwin. So that's how Aleef Hamilton lost that front nose, and a rare mistake from Mohammed Aleef Hamilton, the champion, going into the back of Josh Perwin. What has that done to Josh Perwin? Well, it's put Josh Perwin into the pits and possibly out the race, Alex.
Yes, I think that's him done for the day. Josh, a bit unlucky there. Obviously got involved with that scuffle with Aleef, and that's his chances of finishing 3rd in the championship. He's going to drop down, I think he's currently 4th, just a couple points off Naquib. And if Kalen finishes the race, then Kalen will probably finish 4th. Here comes the pit stops.
Naquib in the pit. So Yevon David is the new race leader.
Yeah, that's right on the money for a 2-stop strategy. And he's putting the soft tyres, so definitely not doing a 1-stop. He'll put the soft tyres now, try and attack a bit. But he's got to make these tyres last. Wow, so he's going to the softs now. Maybe he's going. Okay, so the soft tyres do not last as long as the hard tyres. He stopped right on the money for a 2-stop strategy if he was going to go with the hard tires. Now he's gone on the soft tires, makes me think that maybe he might be thinking about a 3-stop strategy, because these red tires, they will not last another 15 minutes, I feel. I think they'll only last 10 minutes, and if that's the case, he might as well stay on reds the whole way and convert this to a 3-stop.
It's Brody Steer that has just skated past to get into P6. At the front, Yevon David is the man out in the lead, and young Yevon has his supporters on Facebook as well.
Wow, so maybe Yevon can make it and go with the counter strategy, because he has been going very easy. Oh, no, he comes to the pits now, so this is in the 2-stop window. We'll have to see what tyres he takes. If he stays on the hard tyres, then I will going to put myself out there and bet that he's going to go for a two-stop strategy.
That was a very, very late call, though. It looked like he just made a late decision to come into the pits, but that's exactly what he's done. And I tell you what, this must be agonizing for any driver, just having to slow down in the pit lane. Rules is rules.
Yeah.
But it must seem like an eternity. Let's just sit in with him, see how frustrated he gets, waiting to go, waiting. So the tyres are being changed. What's he moving on to? He was the race leader, Yevon David, poised and ready to go. It's a fairly quick stop, Alex.
Yep, and he's kept the hard tyres on, so I think Yevon's definitely doing a two-stop strategy. He's going to try and get those tyres to get to for another 15-minute stint, and then he can go to keep on the tyres to the end. So Yevon, that's why his pace was so slow in that first stint. He was really trying to baby those tyres to try and make sure he can get into that two-stop window. And not have to take that extra third stop.
The race leader is Melvin Moe. He has been in... Has he been in once? No, I don't think Melvin has been in.
No, he hasn't been in. So Melvin, let's see what he's doing. I think he's, his pace as well. He's probably going to try and follow Yevon. He's coming to the pits now, as he is. Probably go for the same strategy. Change tyres to the hard and go for a two-stopper.
And what that will mean is Mohamed Naquib will reclaim the lead. The young Malaysian runner-up in Season 2 of eRacing GP, just on a countback. Hasn't had the rub of the green in Season 3, but I think he'd love to go out this season on an absolute high. Naquib looking for an unlikely P2. If Nasi gets nothing and Naquib picks up 29 points, 84, 94, 04. No, he still didn't get it. My maths wasn't good enough, but Naquib looking to end the season. He's had one win at Daytona. He's had a second place in Ohio, but otherwise he's had a season in many ways to forget for Mohamed Naquib Azlan.
Yeah, he's such a talented driver. One of the young up-and-coming breeds as well, because he hasn't been sim racing that many years. And the potential is very huge. One to look out for the future. I tell you what, e-racing in general just looks really bright. Because don't forget, Aleef is only 22. Naquib here is 20. Miko Nasi, actually, you might call him the old man. Although I would never call him the old man because he's much younger than me. He must be late 20s by now. And we got all these youngsters coming through in the teens, just talking about Yevon David. I think he's 14 now. It's a lot of youngsters there. Dylan Tan, he's, I think, 11, something like that. So a lot of good drivers coming through the ranks.
Mohamed Naquib has the lead. Yevon David is the man in P2. Darrell Brady from the Philippines. That'll get them cheering on Facebook in Manila and all the islands. So Philippines looking for Darrell Brady to carry the Filipino flag, because for once... Luis Moreno isn't having the best of times. Luis, who's had a really consistent season, 6th in the championship, 4 fifth places. But here, Alex, he's down in P11.
Yeah, and he finished 3rd at the last race.
He did, didn't he?
He
Yeah,
did,
he got his first podium.
So this one's not going so his way at the moment. But yeah, he's super consistent, Luis. We saw in the Philippines edition how quick he was. But yeah, struggling a little bit with these. Only one podium to show for this edition for a driver that's that good.
Alongside with Kalen Chin. Kalen Chin indeed actually goes into the 10th position, gets in ahead of Luis Moreno. So Luis Moreno losing a position as we were looking at him. Who else? Inigo Anton. Yeah, Inigo, he's got himself up into P4. That's a nice little time for Inigo. The last 5 minutes, he's got himself very, very nicely in. The bedroom looks an awful lot tidier today, Inigo. I'm delighted to see, but the shirt looks disgusting.
You don't like the shirt? Well,
I hate that shirt.
Good correction there. That was a lightning fast correction that it saved the car from going to a spin. I like the yellow shirt. Keep wearing it, Inigo.
Fashion tips from Alex Young, fella. You are in trouble.
Yeah.
Mohamed Naquib is the man who is still holding on to the lead. We'll revisit Inigo in just a short while. But the lead for Naquib, 31 seconds from Yevon David.
Yeah, he's not hanging around. He's pushing. He's really pushing. The last 3 laps have all been in the 9s. He's got the fastest lap of the race by far. Whereas, you see Yevon and some of the others, they're all in the 11s. So the others are trying to make a two-stop strategy work. Mohamed Naquib's definitely committed to a 3-stopper. And that's what he's just doing.
We've got 2 casualties at the moment. Josh Perwin is out. We saw him. Your boy Alistair Young is out. He went out fairly early, so he's out of the race. Miko Nassi is still struggling. 1 lap down. Aleef Hamilton, the champion. Well, he's in the points, but he's down in 15th, Alex. The man is human after all.
Yeah, maybe he's a hangover from winning the championship. He's such a super consistent performer, always at such a high level. You got to give him, sometimes that you can have a poor race. Maybe it's the pedals. Maybe it's the pedal cam that's distracting. It's the first time he's been streaming this year. He normally does stream in editions 1 and 2, but this edition he hasn't been streaming. I think he hasn't been streaming because he didn't want to give any information to his rivals. But now he's won the championship. He seems to be quite happy to stream and show a few secrets of what he's doing.
Into the top 10, we can tell you that Kalen Chin suffered a puncture. That's why he dropped down just a little bit, so he had to go in and repair a puncture, but he's back out at the moment. He's in 10th place. He's got Luis Moreno just behind him. There's the Filipino in the red, white and blue, as Kalen Chin in the lime green. He's got himself into P10. One-time race leader Melvin Mo from Malaysia is in P8. Tadashi we've not mentioned. Now Tadashi in the dark blue. Ayman Akim, he's got himself into P6. 7 seconds behind Inigo Anton, and Tadashi's another who's had a podium this year.
Yeah, super quick driver, very quick in DTM, isn't he? We saw some great performances last edition in the DTM cars. Maybe not quite as comfortable in the Indy cars. But yeah, so he's in P6 right now. Let's see if he can close the gap to Anton. Certainly capable of. He's always loves driving in that white sweater of his. He says he likes to sweat. So that's interesting.
Well, at the moment he's got himself P6, Inigo Anton in P5, so Tadashi is trying to pick up a top 7 in the overall championship standings, which isn't too shabby. The top 6 going in were Aleef, who's won the title, Nassi and Naquib, Kalen Chin, Josh Perwin and Luis Moreno. They were the top 6. Then Tadashi, Jason Tay, Yevon David, Brody Steen, Inigo Anton and Mohamed Tazbeh, all the way with a chance of making it into the top 10. And anyone who makes it into the top 10, I think, can look back on a season of promise going into season 4 when it kicks off in November. Naquib it is, into the pits for the second time.
I guess we called it 10 minutes. We said he couldn't do 15 minutes on those soft tires. He could only do 10 minutes. That does commit him to a 3-stop strategy. Oh, Miko Nassi drives through the pit lane, speeding in the pit lane. I know Miko Nassi's also put on the soft tire, so I think he's going to go to the fastest lap. And Naquib, now he goes to the hard tire.
So Yevon David and Naquib. This is going to be interesting to see who comes out in front. That's David. That's Naquib. This is David. Will he come out in front? And Mohamed Naquib tries to just come through, and Mohamed Naquib is overtaken by Yevon David, who goes off. Naquib then comes around the outside. We were on board with Yevon David, and it was a big, big moment for the young Sri Lankan, and he didn't deal with it very well, Alex Young.
Yeah, so Yevon obviously saw Naquib coming out of the pit lane, went super late on the brakes to go around the outside, couldn't quite hold it, and just slid wide, let Naquib get back. I tell you what, that's really important for Naquib because it's 25 minutes to go. I know he's put the hard tire on, but I don't think he can make those hard tires last 25 minutes. I think he'll still need to stop. So he needs to go. He needs to go and build up a good gap because Yevon David's only going to stop one more time.
Jason Tay is the man right in the wing mirror of Yevon David, who's looking like he's under a little bit of pressure there. There was a little hint of a smile, but the shoulders are a bit tight on young Yevon as he looks to try to hold on to P2. Let's go on board with Jason Tay, who might have a slipstream. Jason Tay goes on the inside. Yevon foot to the floor, but Jason Tay tries to get there out of the slipstream, and Yevon just gave everything he got. Second chance for Jason Tay. Looks on the inside. Yevon clings on by his fingertips.
That's good defending. Jason just not able to get through. Jason is, they're both on the harder tire. Jason's used up all his push to passes, while Yevon David still has 4. I think Yevon's just saving the push to passes till later. Oh, almost knocks into the back of Yevon. But yeah, Jason's having a very racy race. Just get the feeling this is the battle for the podium position. I think Naquib might have the win taken care of, even with the extra stop that he'll have to do. But the battle for second and third is certainly heating up between Yevon David and Jason Tay.
Well, Jason Tay in the sky blue. We did have a flying lap from him, but we ran out of time to show you. Now we're on board with him. And he's clearly learned a thing or two. How smoothly is Jason Tay driving just at the moment, Alex? There's pressure, though. Takes the high side. Is he able to get around the outside of Yevon David? The answer is this time, yes.
Yes, nicely done. Got a really good exit. It looks like he's on fresher tyres. He must have stopped a little bit later than Yevon. But also, he didn't have a very good first lap, did he? So he's done a really, really good job to get up to Yevon. Looks nice and controlled. We'll obviously have to keep an eye on when these guys stop. They should be stopping in the next 7 minutes. If they stop now, then they're going to have to do a 3-stopper. So both these drivers, it's kind of like playing chess again. I use that reference a lot because although they're fighting each other and they're trying to beat each other, they have to be so careful they do it without taking any life out of the tires. Because they take any life out of the tires and then they start running out of tires, they'll get a puncture and they'll have to do that extra stop.
Mohamed Naquib has got himself a 7-second lead very, very quickly in the last lap and a half. We are on lap 23. We're beyond halfway. So he's established a really good lead. Jason Tay second. Tadashi up to fourth. Melvin Moe, let's look down. Luis Moreno has begun to make a little bit of headway. He's got himself into the top 8. Hadn't really been paying attention. He's had one stop at the moment. One more to go.
Lewis, yes, I think he's doing a 2-stop strategy as well. He pitted quite late as well. Of the drivers, you know, there'll be Naquib, Dylan Tan, and I think Aleef. They're all committed to a 3-stop strategy. Aleef probably didn't want to do a 3-stop strategy, but he had that contact with Josh Poen and he had to stop a bit early. But yeah, Aleef's at the bottom of the top 10 right now. He's not really in the hunt for a podium position.
I can tell you Kalen Chin's got himself ahead of Brody Steen. He's now into the top 6. That's good news for Kalen as he tries to battle for third overall in the championship standings. 4th overall because Naquib will take 3rd. So 4th potentially for Kalen Chin. And with Josh Purwin out and Miko Nassi struggling, it's looking decent for Josh Purwin. Moreno is 2 places down on him. Just a mention for Miko Nassi, Alex Young. He's posted a 1:08.9 lap.
Wow, that's a seriously fast lap. So, yes, I think Nassi and Naquib are going to be in their own little personal battle to see who can get fastest lap of the race. And look at that, Nassi's back into the pits.
Well, he's trying his old 15-stop strategy once again, isn't he? Yeah. Maybe get those red wall tyres on, just smash his previous best lap. He realises he can't pick up points by at the top end of the race, so may as well secure that fastest lap. At the moment, it's 1:08.9, which is 0.2 of a second faster than Mohamed Naquib's best effort.
Yeah. So Naquib put on his last pit stop was at 25 minutes to go. So he's got to make these tires stretch 15 minutes. So he'll take his last pit stop with like 8, 9, 10 minutes to go. And I got a feeling he'll put the soft tires on for that last run and have another go at trying to take back that fastest lap.
At the moment, he's just got a bit of traffic to deal with. Naquib is at the back end there. Naquib is the overall championship leader. There he is in the dark black with green stripes.
Well, and third in the championship.
Sorry, third, but he's race leader, sorry.
Yes,
that's what
race leader.
And there he is, holding on at the moment. Jason Tay is in second. Jason Tay, 8.5 seconds down. Once he's got past Yevon David, he's managed to put a fair amount of distance between himself and Yevon David, Jason Tay. He's Jason, we see him so often. He can be very, very quick, but he doesn't have a single podium to his credit. 2 fourths and a 6th place in the 7 races to date.
Wow, that's incredible because he has won an ERGP. And he's had a stunning pole position in DTM last edition as well. So, but yeah, it's one of the other drivers have kind of not performed in the IndyCars. IndyCars are a bit tricky to drive, a high downforce. You need to keep certain driving style to get the most out of these cars. But yeah, it would be great if you could finish on a podium today.
Well, that's what he'll be chasing because little targets. You never know if we go into season 4. When we go into season 4, little bit of confidence. You all start from 0. Yep. You all have a chance, and Jason Tate has improved enough to be a competitor without being a contender.
Yes, he has. it would be nice to see him make that step up so he can go from not just a race winner, but into like a championship contender. He does a really good job there. Here we go, Aleef in for his second stop. Yeah, he'll be doing 3 stops. He's still going on the medium tire. Maybe he feels he can get to the end of this tire. It's a long asked. 18 minutes to go. Possible though. If anyone can stretch out those tires, Aleef can. He's going to try and convert from a 3-stopper back to a 2-stopper. And as we saw in the last race, he knows how to look after those tires. Because if he can do that, stands a good chance of getting back into the top 5.
Okay, we've got a little battle of the Philippines going on just at the moment. Luis Moreno in P8, Darrell Brady in P9. So there's Moreno going through. Darrell Brady is 8 seconds adrift. And then Inigo Anton is in P10. So Inigo there, we're on board with Inigo Anton. He's got Darrell Brady some 7 seconds ahead of him. But Philippines 8, 9 and 10 all in the points at the moment.
Yeah, they are indeed. I would like to go back to the battle for second position though, because they are the next drivers that will be coming in for a pit stop, I feel. I want to keep an eye on Jason Tay and Yevon David, because not this lap I feel, but maybe the next or the lap after that, they'll be going to come in for their second pit stop.
So Jason Tay stayed out, Yevon David stayed out, Mohamed Naquib stayed out as well. Naquib is increasing his lead. We will, as you want, go back to that. So Tay, as he looks backwards, Yevon David isn't in those 2 cars. It's a 6-second lead. Jason Tay has done a really good job since he got ahead of Yevon David. He's extended that lead to 6 seconds, 19 seconds behind the leader, but 6 seconds ahead of Yevon David.
Yeah, so 6 seconds, that's a really good gap, especially if Jason's looking really good now for second position. Yevon David just not able to go with Tay, not able to match the same pace. So Tay looks like he's definitely going to get into a 2-stop. He's going to get into the window to make a 2-stop strategy work.
Let's look down. Quick check up on Aleef. He's got himself up into P15. It is brother Tasby who's right behind him in P16. Very capable driver in his own right, but Aleef Hamilton is the champion. Isn't used to feel of finishing low down the races, so I'm sure we'll see him try to make up some ground. Race leader is Naquib Azlan. There he is. It looks like he's coming up to lap. Who was that? It's not Moreno he's lapping, surely. Or maybe. You know what? It could be. No, it can't be Moreno.
No, Moreno's further up the road, I think. But yes, be interested to see if Jason's coming to the pit lane now. Second and third position. Yes, he is. Called that again. He'll change tyres and he'll put on the hard tyres as well, because the soft tyres won't do 15 minutes to the end.
Yevon David also.
Yep, there we go.
So they're in a battle. Jason Tay, that's a quick pit stop by the powers of eRacing GP. Goes right the way through Yevon David. And Yevon, well, they've both gone out. I didn't see what colour tyres. What have they got?
Yeah.
Soft?
Hard tyres.
Hard tyres.
So they'll go to the end. So Naquib, he's got a gap though. He's got like a big gap, so he can take that third pit stop and still come back out in the lead.
36 seconds is the lead that he's got over Melvin Moe. Kalen Chin is now moving into P3. Jason Tay 4, Darrell Brady 5, Yevon David 6. Aleef has got himself up into P13 after those pit stops. Dylan Tan, the silver champion, is down in P16. Finding the difference between silver and gold is quite a big one. A long way down. Let's see if Naquib... So you think he will come in maybe, what, with 10 minutes to go?
Nah, 4 minutes. He'll go. He'll come back in. He'll do his last pit stop in about 3 laps time. Okay.
So... at the moment, his lap times, he's still got a 109.078 as his best time. His last lap was a 110.7, which, again, isn't too shabby.
No, he's been head and shoulders above everyone else at the moment. Done a really good job, Naquib has. He's going to win this race comfortably. All these drivers sometimes have really good days and end up winning way too early. What happened to our last lap overtakes for the win?
You're being far too fair. Or to give the likes of Aleef 2 laps that they've got to catch up.
Yeah.
2-lap reverse grid race. There you go. Jason Tay is the man in P2. He'll be looking, but he's going backwards. Jason Tay, 51 seconds adrift of Mohammed Naquib. 50-second differential between first and second. Surely not right. Yes, it is.
That's correct, because Naquib still needs to pit one more time.
But even so, that'll be a 15-second lead or so for Naquib, assuming he just changes tyres.
Yeah, so pit stop, I think, takes about 25 to 28 seconds. That's just the pace Naquib has at the moment. He really had it happen to him in that first lap. Very aggressive that first lap. Had lots of contact. Very lucky to get away with that contact, I have to say. But it's paid off, you know. He's got a great gap right now. Jason Tay did not have a particularly good first lap, but he's very patient. He's made his way through. He's rewarded with P2 at the moment.
Down in P8, Kalen Chin. He's got Russell Reyes for company. So Kalen Chin in that familiar lime green. 8th place. Again, it'll sum up a frustrating season for Kalen, where he's had a couple of podiums. He did well at Daytona, a first and a second, but a fourth at Laguna Seca and a fourth at Road America show that he's again a contender and not a genuine potential champion, Kalen Chin. Maybe in years to come, because he's still young, as you can see from the picture on the right hand side. I do forget, I know we're on to season 3 now and I'm familiar with these guys, but you do forget that these are young fellas still learning their craft.
Yeah, and they're just going to get better and better. You know, the next generation, Dylan Tan, Kalen Chin, Yevan David, they're going to be very exciting to watch over the next few years.
Naquib comes out of the pits.
Oh wow, that's a bit earlier than I thought. So I'd be very surprised if he's gone to the soft tire. I guess he's going to not go for the fastest lap. Okay, so he decides to be conservative, which is probably the smart thing to do, because he wants to make sure that he just gets the race win done and dusted. And that's a good 17-second gap.
Just a little update, Miko Nassi has decided his race is done, but at the moment he's got fastest lap 108.941. Naquib not on the soft compound, so it could well be that Miko Nassi is resting in the pits and will still pick up 4 points.
Yes, he will. So first position, obviously, Aleef was crowned champion in the previous round. Miko Nassi is going to be second, and this man, Mohamed Aleef, who will probably win today, will be third in the championship.
Final round of the ERGP season number 3. Aleef Hamilton has won all 3 championships. He is a standard bearer. The likes of Naquib, consistency is perhaps the only problem for Mohamed Naquib, and 1 or 2 problems with accidents this season, but Naquib is showing really what he's made of here. 16 seconds the lead, and he's finished all his pit stops, so barring a catastrophe, Indy is going to be a happy racing ground for Mohamed Naquib Azlan.
Look, it is looking nice and calm, just using every inch of the road. It's quite you have to appreciate the high standard of driving. All these drivers are capable of, but especially to win here. You know, this is a high quality field, and you see Naquib there, he's just using every inch of road possible, and a bit more in that case. Just really, that's what you have to do as a driver. You just have to maximize your potential, you maximize your opportunities with the car. Naquib's very good with his hands. It sounds like a really obvious thing to say, but you have to build grip to be quick in a race car, and he builds grip. His initial turn-in is very good. A bit like Aleef. Aleef is also very good. So is Miko Nassi as well. If you're not good with your hands, you're not going to be quick at RaceRoom. It's a game that tends to favor understeering cars. Most of the cars here do have to love understeer, and those drivers that know how to build that grip across that front axle are the ones who end up winning.
Is it wrist strength, or is it finger strength, or
it's sensitivity?
Sensitivity.
It's not about strength at all. It's just about the finesse to be very sensitive with the wheel to build it up. It's not about being fast or slow. It's about being just right. There's a fine line. You build the grip up a bit too fast, you go past the slip angles, the grip disappears. You build it up a bit too slow, you miss the turning point and you miss the apex. So it's timing, it's balance, and that's what makes a difference.
Bit of a race coming on here for Luis Moreno. He is trying to get very, very close to Brody Steen. Mohamed Aleef Hamilton has got himself up into P7, but Moreno has got Darrell Brady just behind him, Brody Steen just ahead of him. Brody Steen. So good chance to have a look at the Season 2 Filipino champion. And a man who's chasing a top 6 place here. Podium last week, which was very good after 4 5th place finishes. So ultra consistent from Luis Moreno. Is he good enough to actually take the next step and become a regular podium sitter, Alex Young?
Certainly, you know, like when we go to the next global edition, we change cars, Moreno will be back in the thick of it for sure. It's been kind of interesting experiment going to the IndyCars, and maybe one I might not repeat again, because the racing hasn't been as good as, say, when we were with GT3 cars or DTM cars. And also some of the drivers, you know, aren't able to get quite the most from the car. And I think Moreno is one of them. You know, not quite able to make that final step to where he can fight for race wins. But most importantly, I mean, I love driving these cars. When I'm on the sim and I've driven these cars, they're great fun to drive. But you do have dirty air when you follow a car in front. It makes it a bit difficult to overtake. So we'll probably use a different car next time.
Here is, though, Luis Moreno trying to overtake Brody Steen. Got in the slipstream. Leaves the braking late as they come into the Mickey Mouse part of the circuit, the one with tweaks and nicks, and he's got himself up into P7. Only Kalen Chin, Melvin Motor, Dashi, Yevon David, Jason Tay and Naquib ahead of him.
Let's look at another driver, Mohamed Tasbi, Aleef's brother. Has had a really quiet race. Just been not as quick as he usually is. Oh, you know what? I wonder if he's using the spare wheel at his house. No, it might be, depending which wheels. They have several wheels in that household, and sometimes I know he does go over to Jinmas Vilton's house and borrows his wheel. But Tasbi had a really, really strong last couple races, but this race just a bit like his brother, a little bit off the pace.
Well, it's Darrell Brady he's got in his sights. Not too far away for Tasbi. Again, another who's had one good race. He got a bronze at a 3rd place finish in Hockenheim. He's accumulated 25 points, but as you say, you'd like him to convert more of these decent drives into bigger points, because that's what the top racers do, and that is what Mohamed Naquib is going to do. He's got a 21-second lead with under 6 minutes to race. He can really afford just to settle down a little bit and just put consistent lap times. He had an invalid lap time last time out. Be interested to see what laps he is putting around.
Oh, it does a 10.3 on this lap. Still really quick, still quicker than anyone else out there, to be honest. If that's him slowing down, that's not really slowing down, I have to say. But yeah, he's got this one in the bag. 5 minutes to go. 20 seconds between him and second place man Jason Tay.
Let's mention Jason Tay, as he has a back marker to deal with. He's in 2nd place. We always see him on the flying laps, and he always deals with it very nicely. It's good to actually see him convert that neat and tidy driving style into points, which, assuming he can avoid any problems in the last 5 minutes, is exactly what will happen. Yevon David is 11 seconds adrift, but Yevon also a youngster. If he can avoid anything, a 3rd place finish for young Yevon on the last race here at Indianapolis would be a very, very good result for him.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be his first podium in the gold class as well, and well deserved. So yeah, Yevon David looking pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, he has picked up points in every round bar Hockenheim. He's picked up a 5th place, 2 5th places, a 6th and a 7th. So as you say, if you can convert that and get yourself into podium positions in the longer races, which are very, very different to the short sprint races, Alex, in that this is genuine racecraft you're teaching the guys.
Yeah, it is. The ebb and flow of you know, okay, the cars won't ever exactly feel like the real car, but the ebb and flow of the races, how you do the strategy, how you have to look up the tires, how it moves around on its axle and the balance changes, that's all like real life. So, you know, and you know, Yevon is a real world driver as well. He does a lot of karting. He plans to do some single seaters when he gets a bit older as well. And all this experience will really help him, you know, because he will eventually have to do these longer races too.
Thank you for your comments coming through on Facebook. It's eRacing GP Gold Class. It's the final 3 minutes and 40 seconds of a season which has seen us mainly focus on America tracks, but we also went to Hockenheim as well just to shake things up. We've had long races, we've had short sprints, we've had reverse grids, And in the end, Aleef Hamilton is always the champion. But Mohammed Naquib has shown, I think, that he is going to be a genuine contender when Season 4 kicks in, because he is leading and increasing his lead by the lap. He's just done another 110.6 after a 110.3. He's the only one in the 110s at the moment, Alex.
Yeah, he's on a different world. It's such a shame we didn't get a chance to have Aleef. Because Aleef didn't have a good first lap, but if Aleef had got a good first lap, the two of them I think would have had a titanic battle. But yeah, he's having a quiet race now and down in P13.
Yeah, Aleef Hamilton, P13. Who would have thought? This'll be, you're allowed to throw one race away, and this will be the one that he throws away. For Aleef Hamilton, if we just go through the bold statistics, he won at Road America, third in Mid-Ohio, a second or third in Daytona, a win and a second in Hockenheim, a win in Laguna Seca. So up until today, he hadn't been off the podium. His worst racing day was 18 points, and that was when there was only one race, 2 points from qualifying, 16 points from the race. This has been a remarkably consistent season, and you're allowed an off day, Aleef. You are allowed an off day.
And you know what? He's done a third pit stop. He's on the softer tyres again. That's why he's dropped back, because he's done a third pit stop. And now he's coming through the field. You never know. This might be good enough for fastest lap of the race.
Dylan Tan is the man who he's just overtaken to move into the top echelons. His outlap was a 129, but this will be the real lap once he's got down. So his last lap, was a 109.4. So yeah, he's looking quick. He's looking to make Miko Nassi's bad day even worse, taking his fastest lap from him, perhaps.
Yeah, well, he's got traffic, unfortunately. Oh, if he didn't have the traffic, I think he would have had a good go at that fastest lap. At the moment, he's half a second off. And I'm not sure if he's going to have time, because, okay, he'll get one more lap after this, I think, before the end of the race. So maybe on the last lap of the race, he'll have some clear traffic and he'll be able to see if he can grab that fastest lap of the race.
Tadashi has got himself ahead of Yevon David. Oh, Yevon David, though, is battling back. A lot of contact between Yevon and Tadashi. And Yevon holds on. Tadashi spins off, having tried to get into P3. Will actually have to hold on very hard to try and keep P4. He does do so because Melvin Moe wasn't close enough. But Tadashi went for it big time. It didn't quite come off.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's got any damage, because the way he went off was very strange, like he had a puncher. Does he have a puncher? Is he able to keep going? Oh, yeah, he's spinning. It's got a puncher. He's got damage. Oh, a heartbreak for Ayman. Did all the hard work. He's had the pace to take the podium spot, but at the moment, Yevon David survives for another day.
That means Yevon David goes to P3, Melvin into P4, Kalen Chin 5, Moreno 6. Naquib is oblivious to it all because he's nearly 30 seconds clear. 15 seconds to go. This is the final lap. It is a victory march for Naquib Azlan. Runner-up in Season 1, runner-up in Season 2. He could be third here in Season 3. Has he timed this right? Yeah, it's going to be Naquib Azlan to take the victory on the final lap. A maximum 25 points for Naquib Azlan. He is the victor. Jason Tay will come home in second place, but Naquib, big relief, very happy, good day at the office for the young Malaysian, and a thumbs up to the camera.
Really good job. Look how happy he is. Hey! There's his brother as well, Nabil. Well, hey, Nabil's taking a bit of a break from driving at the moment, but Nabil is just as quick as Naquib, to be honest. He's a really, really quick driver. Jason Tay there goes across the line, P2. And here we go. Yevon David holds on for his first podium of the year too.
Melvin Moe will just come in ahead of Kalen Chin. This is the battle for P4. Coming round the last corner, Kalen tries to give it his all. These are for the lower places. It could be important for Kalen Chin. He's trying to get on the slipstream. Has he got enough time to make an overtake maneuver? The answer is no. Luis Moreno will come in 6. Brody Steen will finish just behind him in P7 with Darrell Brady and Inigo Anton. Aleef Hamilton will end his season slowing down in 11th place as he'll just enjoys. He'll throw this one away, but he's still had a good time. But Naquib Azlan, Alex Young, has finished the eRacing GP season with a victory. Fastest lap, though, goes to Is it Nassi? Did he hold on? I think he did. 108.9. Did anyone beat 108.9? Nobody beat 108.9.
Yep, so Nassi has fastest lap? Yes, he does. I guess he does. Aleef didn't go quicker. So yeah, we will try and speak with Mohammed Naquib, but there are the confirmation of the results, Des.
Naquib wins it, 25 points. Fastest lap to Miko Nassi, who didn't finish the race. 4 points for him. Jason Tay picks up 20. His first podium finish. Young David, great result for him in third place. His first podium finish of the season as well. Melvin Moe from Malaysia. Kalen Chin, that could be enough to hold him into fourth place in the championship standings. Ahead of Moreno, who'll come in the top 6. Brody Steen, Inigo Anton and Darrell Brady make it. 3 Filipinos in the top 9. Tadashi, was chasing third. Has to settle for 10th, just ahead of Aleef Hamilton. And Dylan Tan, the silver champion, coming through in 12th. Also points for Reyes, Tasbeh and Jayden Lowe. And so a season comes to an end. And Naquib, well done. That was a really, really good performance. And big smile on your face, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm really happy to be talking to you guys again. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm really relieved to finally get this win. It's been such a long time coming after so many misfortunes. And well, there you go, unluckiness. But hey, it all comes around in the end. But it was a really good race.
Great race, yeah, it was indeed. That first lap, though, maximum risk. You must have been a bit concerned. I saw all that contact because we rode with you at the start. Were you worried about the contact?
I didn't really realize any contact from it was a bit of, nudgy here and there, but I was, making sure my nose was clean. Well, it didn't really translate in my driving, but I knew if I made it clean out of lap 1, I was confident with my pace. And well, the gaps kept on coming and I had to take it. If I didn't take it, then yeah, I would have lost a lot of time.
And the car, because your lap times are really, really quick. I mean, you're in the 10s at the end of the race. No one else is doing that as well. Were you surprised by how much?
Yeah. So in the practice leading up to this, it was really good. Really confident in the car. And I knew I had the pace to win it. I just had to make sure lap 1 was clean. That first stint as well was really crucial. To just make sure I had the lead in the end. It all played out to how I liked it.
You mentioned that first stint. I mean, you were a bit nervous about making it to 15 minutes because it looked like you had to baby those tires in the first stint.
The first stint, yeah, it was really touch and go with I wanted to do a 2-stop or a 3. In the end, I think I had the pace to do the 3-stop, so I decided to do that. Went for the option tires. At the second one, I knew I could pull away and open a gap, and that's what happened. So yeah, really happy. Finally, it went to how I planned it out.
Third place overall in the championship. What's your feeling over the whole season? What's your emotion?
Yeah, it was a season not meant to be, I think, for me. I think at the start, it started off badly, as you remember, at Road America. And Aleef really, fair play to him. He drove really well all season, no mistakes until I think this race. I think he didn't even finish in the top 10. But other than that, he was on it every single time. So fair play to him. This race for me, it was really just to show to everyone, I'm still here. I'm still gonna fight. And yeah, it's not over. I'm gonna come back next season.
Okay.
Well, terrific from Naquib. Great way to end the season. We'll see you for season 4 when we kick off sometime in November, which is the plan.
Thank you, Des. Thank you, Alex. Good racing.
So Naquib, he speaks very well as well, considering he's just gone through 50 minutes of high concentration, bags of energy in that interview.
Yeah, they did a really good job today. Made it happen the lap 1. You could see how frustrated he was, though, wasn't he? I mean, the last 2 rounds 4 and 5, I know when I talked to him afterwards, he said he'd been putting in a lot of practice. He was confident of his pace, but he just wasn't able to show it, especially the last race when he was taken out in that first start line crash.
Miko Nassi will pick up runner-up position in the overall championship standings. He picked up 4 points today. It wasn't his worst round of the season. He had a 2-pointer as well. The margins of being able to throw away races are very, very small. Yeah. Like Naquib, he had 2 poor rounds out of 6. and that ends your championship, Alex. There's no real room for error.
Yeah, that's it is about championship racing, isn't it? You know, and that's why Aleef is champion. You know, Aleef said this was his hardest global edition, and it was hard because Miko Nasi and Naquib were really challenging and really making it tough for him to win. But you know, Aleef was just a little bit more consistent, always there. And also he had a bit of a rub of the green, yeah, that's what the difference is. When it's close like that, it comes down to fine margins, and it's nice to see the level going up like this, because it means the others, especially coming from the silver class, the young kids coming, they need to be able to reach that level, and they need to see that this is the level I got to aim for. It just improves the quality of the driving throughout the region.
Yeah, great point, epitomised by the fact that Jason Tay got his first podium, Yevon David picked up his first podium. So even though Aleef Hamilton is the champion, and as Naquib said so eloquently, fair play to him, he's been really consistent, there are contenders for season 4.